Live? I'm live. Whoa, what up with your YouTube and YouTube bust? It's your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm up. And welcome to Up with a Cup in the Morning with Chuck, where I'm not responsible for the truth that you may or may not hear. This is what I like to call synergy. Now, for everybody that's out here rocking with me, appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let's get this out here. We're going to start this thing off with a bang. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to start out, we're going to find out about Trump is going to Texas for a last stand. This kind of remind me of hope this don't be like X-Men 3 off Fox Universe, because that movie really did suck. But anyway, though, we about to go ahead and get the diving right fast, because you know what I'm saying, this is how we're going to start this thing off, and let's start it off right with, let's see what Trump's last stand to Dallas. Let's see what started off seeing what Chris got to say. Let's check Chris out. Y'all ready for this? Make sure that y'all can see it too. Okay, bam, there you go. Do this.
The president's niece has been saying for some time now that her uncle needs to be removed from power because he will do unstable, unhinged, whatever word you want to use. And that's what's happening. Many of Trump's allies have said nothing. It took people to die to do what we just saw, to even admit that there's a problem. Mary Trump is also a psychologist and author of Too Much and Never Enough. She joins us now. You take no solace in having been right. I know that. And you're also saying it's not over. Now, he's going to the Alamo in San Antonio. We all know what the Alamo is about. We know the virtue of the call for aid and being unheeded and fighting against huge odds. He's going to Alamo, Texas. And Alamo, Texas is named after that mission in San Antonio, okay? So the symbol is there, okay? Do you think that's why he's going there?
Undoubtedly. I'm sure somebody else told him to go there because, as you know as well as I do, Donald knows absolutely nothing about American history. But I'm sure once he was told what the symbolism was, he thought it was a good idea, but I guess whoever informed him about the Alamo didn't tell him how it ended. But he is there. He is indeed going there to make a stand of one kind or another. And it's, you know, as I've said, and as you've said, and as many other people have said, this is going to continue to get worse because Donald will continue to stir this up. I read the transcript of his January 6th speech, and it was incendiary, and it was also a prescription, if you will, to his followers. So Donald has never been contained. He's never been stopped. You know, he's always been allowed to get away with whatever he's wanted to get away with. I think it's time, though, for us and, well, actually for the Republicans in Congress, who are literally the only people on this planet who can mitigate the horrors that are going on right now.
Why aren't they speaking out about this? I can't think of many things other than calling for more insurrections that he could do that is a more harrowing symbol than going to the Alamo, which was the last, Alamo, Texas. I don't care that he's not going to the Alamo. Obviously, Alamo, Texas is not a coincidence, okay? He shouldn't be going anywhere near anything called like that right now, not out of disrespect for the Alamo, but what it will mean to these crazy extremist groups who love to see themselves as fighting to the death against the odds. How can people around him be letting him do this?
Because they think that it benefits them to some degree.
Okay, so if y'all don't know that, I was watching a riot. Well, I know I watched the riot. I did some videos about it. Just go back and check out the last video. I was did some reactions inside of my last podcast about the riots that went on, and I actually checked out Donald Trump's interview, and I was trying to see exactly what Donald Trump said to actually excite the riot. No more than what I would have seen like a politician. If you would have took that one and put it in any other time frame, you would have never known the difference between any other not riots, the rallies that people be having. So the rally to me didn't seem like it was that bad, but at the same time, when you got a constant pressure just building and building, building, and all it takes is and then it busts. Or the straw that broke the camel back, and that's probably what they was looking at it as. So I was trying to see exactly out of my own two eyes, not what nobody else said, because I'm not left or right. I'm forward to see which Donald Trump actually excited to ride like people say he did. But anyway, though, let's find out about his last thing that he's supposed to be doing in Texas. Boy, that let you know about the South. Yeah, I am from the South, so I understand how it goes. So I'm getting where they're getting at, but what I'm saying, it's about the history of the culture of what they did about some fighting against the odds. But I digress.
Listen, if Mike Pence, who was literally being threatened
Hunted.
with hanging, yes, hunted and threatened with hanging at the hands of a mob Donald incited, if he's not going to stand up and exercise his constitutional right to invoke the 25th Amendment, and by the way, why were they hunting him and threatening him? Because on January 6th, he was exercising his constitutional duty to certify the election.
Right.
And apparently, because he was not going to tell the big lie that Donald has been peddling for the last 2 months, Mike Pence deserved to die. And yet he still is not putting a stop to this.
Right. And now Pence and his guys are supposedly trying to tamp down the temperature. They should be doing the opposite. Not being on.
Okay. Hey, I apologize for this. But from the first until I can't tell you how many days, I didn't have internet on the internet, because we had a storm and it knocked our internet out for about a week or so. So some information I'm kind of blocking in and learning as we go on the fly. So this is something I ain't know about until just now. Remind me tomorrow. I digress.
Twitter, being somewhat isolated, hearing some members of his party go against him. Will any of that mean anything to him in terms of thinking about where he is and what he should say?
No, and I take issue with the whole he's isolated because he's not on Twitter. He has an entire press corps with cameras ready to go anytime he wants to step in front of a camera. So that's just absurd on the face. He just knows that if he steps in front of reporters, he can't control the narrative completely. I literally think there is nothing anybody can say. He's not going to come to his senses because doesn't have any, so it's a question of other people stepping in and blocking him and containing him. And Republicans in Congress are the only people who can do that. And yet, instead of doing that, what are they doing? They're putting it all on Democrats and telling the Democrats that they're the ones who need to call for unity and I guess just let bygones be bygones.
I don't know.
Donald incited an armed insurrection against his own government, in the process of which a Capitol police officer was killed. What else did they need to see have happen?
Obviously more, because they're still playing the game. But you never have.
Well, they're going to get it.
And I appreciate your perspective. Mary Trump, be well.
Thank you. You too, Chris.
Okay, me personally, I didn't think that it was
on this historic day when President Trump was impeached for a second time. He remains holed up over at the White House, unable to vent his reaction on Twitter or so many of the other social media outposts.
Hey, y'all let me know about, excuse me for 1 second. Hey, y'all let me know about this here. Me and my homeboy Flip, we was talking about the Mandela effect, right? And I was trying to explain to him certain things, and he was trying to explain to me other things. And we both are homeboys, we click, but we stand on two different sides of the spectrum of this situation. So let me know if y'all want us to go diving into our thoughts and opinions about the Mandela effect. That's just from one conspiracy theory, one gamer, one person that like comic books and movies to everybody else that's out there. So you are interested in it? Let me know so we could do this. I digress.
He has released a video in which he calls for calm, but does not mention his impeachment. Watch this.
My fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the troubling events of the past week. As I have said, the incursion of the U.S. Capitol struck at the very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country, and no place in our movement. Making America great again has always been about defending the rule of law, supporting the men and women of law enforcement, and upholding our nation's most sacred traditions and values. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement. You are attacking it, and you are attacking our country. We cannot tolerate it. Tragically, over the course of the past year, made so difficult because of COVID-19, we have seen political violence spiral out of control. We have seen too many riots, too many mobs, too many acts of intimidation and destruction. It must stop. Whether you are on the right or on the left, a Democrat or a Republican, there is never a justification for violence. No excuses, no exceptions. America is a nation of laws. Those who engaged in the attacks last week will be brought to justice. Now I am asking everyone who has ever...
Okay, so if he's saying that, that means that he's for the riot or against the riot. Is the last stand that he having in Texas, is it supposed to excite the riot or probably you know, digress it? Anyway, though, let's I digress. Let's continue hearing what Trump got to say about the shit, because I think a lot of this is the media. And you know, let me show you how real I am. I'm a Saints fan. I don't really talk about sports on this channel. Maybe a pinch, but just a pinch. But I'm a Saints fan, right? I seen a game last Sunday. I was disappointed when I was watching. I mean, it was like more like the second half when it really just done and just put in my face, and I'm just looking like the Saints. I felt like the Saints could have won without the referee's help. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a fan of that. But anyway, though, I digress. Let's continue on about this. That's how you know how real of a person I am. I'm a 100% diehard nothing but Saints fan. And if I didn't respect, and if I could notice the cheating that they was doing for the Saints, and it was to the fact that even the Saints they didn't want that. So, but anyway, though, I digress. Let's finish in what Trump got to say out of his own mouth.
Believed in our agenda to be thinking of ways to ease tensions, calm tempers, and help to promote peace in our country. There has been reporting that additional demonstrations are being planned in the coming days, both here in Washington and across the country. I have been briefed by the U.S. Secret Service on the potential threats. Every American deserves to have their voice heard in a respectful and peaceful way. That is your First Amendment right. But I cannot emphasize that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. Everyone must follow our laws and obey the instructions of law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to use all necessary resources to maintain order. In Washington, D.C., we are bringing in thousands of National Guard members to secure the city and ensure that a transition can occur safely and without incident. Like all of you, I was shocked and deeply saddened by the calamity at the Capitol last week.
Okay, it sounds like he's talking about making sure that everything runs smoothly. Now, regardless of the fact, y'all got to give it to Donald Trump. He's a showman, right? He liked to be in the limelight. He liked to be out. He liked to be in public. He liked to do events and do stuff like that. Now, my biggest thing about it is he was going to do this regardless. This is his type of thing. So when I'm seeing Trump doing this, the only thing is, well, my biggest concern of this thing is, all right, COVID is still out there. And if you're putting together big rallies and big events and a lot of people coming together, that's raising the stakes of the virus spread and like starting over, even getting worse. Same thing with in Alabama. Sweet home Alabama. But hey, y'all more country than us. I say Alabama is more country than Louisiana. Alabama, Louisiana, drop me a, hey, but look, check this out. Drop me a like button. I said, drop me a like button. Hey, do some magic and make it turn blue. Abracadabra. You know, all you gotta do is just touch it. Watch it like magic. Just like magic or voodoo, whatever y'all want to call it. Yeah, do some show me y'all do some Louisiana magic and turn that like button blue. I turn it, all you gotta do is touch it and I'll make it turn blue by the YouTube thing. Anyway, fuck all. Get all that. Man, y'all know I could use profanity. This is us. You know, I'm trying not to just hold back, but at the same time, you know, with the guidelines of how it's supposed to be done. And everybody that's been rocking with me, you know, appreciate it. You know, we're gonna shoot good vibes, drink some coffee, put your cups up, drink, you know, taste of the good life. And then I'm gonna after this, I got a special thing. I'm gonna rebrand with Andrew Yang. Want to send him a happy birthday.
I want to thank the hundreds of millions of incredible American citizens who have responded to this moment with calm, moderation, and grace. We will get through this challenge just like we always do. I also want to say a few words about the unprecedented assault on free speech we have seen in recent days. These are tense and difficult times. The efforts to censor, cancel, and blacklist our fellow citizens are wrong, and they are dangerous. What is needed now is for us to listen to one another, not to silence one another. All of us can choose by our actions to rise above the rancor and find common ground and shared purpose. We must focus on advancing the interests of the whole nation.
Okay, right now, this is what I'm hearing. This is a script this is not Donald Trump talking out the cuff. So this is something they wrote down and made sure that it was airtight. So everything that I'm hearing is airtight statements, and he reading straight off the script. See, he's not that type of president to just read off the script. Joe Biden more of that type of president, and this sound more politician than ever before I'd ever heard out of Donald Trump. So this must be a level of fear that he's having inside of him that, you know, when you do something, matter of fact, like Kevin Hart with his last special, it just ain't feel like it was Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart. Like right now, this is not Donald Trump being Donald Trump. I'm sensing a little fear. You can see it in his eyes. So with that being said, Donald Trump could do more. I mean, he shouldn't do nothing at all, but he could be doing worse damage than this. For the news is trying to make it like he's actually doing. So I'm not seeing all the stuff that the news doing. They over exaggerating, they fear mongering. Is more like what I'm seeing, because I'm thinking in the next 7 days now that the transition gonna go over smoothly. I don't see none of no conflict. I just see, you know, Donald Trump is the showman that he is. He got to show himself out wherever he go. So anyway, y'all know Donald Trump, he's gonna show out. That's just Donald Trump. So I don't think it's more about. I think it's bad timing, because after that he should be calling it after the riot and the protest that just happened to occur. I think really he shouldn't have had this event. But that's just me personally, what I wouldn't have done. I'm not Donald Trump, and I'm not, you know, saying I don't have the same mentality as Trump. So with that being said, I'm gonna see, you know, with how this unfold, because he said he's gonna have a lot of security, he's gonna have a lot of everything gonna be in place. He actually talking everybody down, not to be violent, not to do this, not to do that. So the only thing that I'm concerned about, back to what I was saying, is the COVID. So the only thing I'm saying, this might be a hell of a spread for the COVID virus. So this is gonna be one small step for Donald Trump, one like on Buzz Lightyear, one huge step for the COVID. I digress.
Delivering the miracle vaccines, defeating the pandemic, rebuilding the economy, protecting our national security, and upholding the rule of law. Today, I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Hey, it sounds like he just sneezed. God bless you. Achoo. God. But anyway, though, let's take a moment break. You know, I had to go find this video. So this one here is, I just want to take a moment to stop and let everybody know that I'm not a Democrat, not a Republican, not left, not right, not the elephant, not the donkey. I'm part of the forward party, which is the eagle. Whatever color they want to go with. I said some stuff, but it could be whichever one. And that's about solving problems. It's not about who caused the problems, who did this and who did that. I was a big fan of Andrew Yang the day I seen him on the Breakfast Club, and then right after I seen him on Joe Rogan, because I do watch Joe Rogan, and I seen him on Joe Rogan and on the Breakfast Club. And when I seen him on that and that, it was just clear to me. And then his statements and the stuff that he was talking about, okay, the UBI was like, bam, caught your attention. Now, after you see the UBI, all of the different policies, which is like, bam, bam. I ain't gonna say I agree with all of his policies, but he had more policies than ever, even over Barack Obama, that I was more intrigued about. More policies than Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, any other ones that's been doing this here, and he just came out of nowhere and he just captivated my attention. So I'm not a fan of him running for New York, but because I think that's going to draw him away from the main goal. And the main goal is for him to solve the problems of the American people. But with that being said, you know what I'm saying, let's stand up for the champion right now. And I want to give a special shout out to the Andrew Yang. And I'm going to have to start this over from the beginning. Hey, this is me doing a reaction.
Whoa, with Yang and Yang Gang. It's your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm up. And I'd like to wish a very special birthday to our future president, Andrew Yang. This video might get demonetized or have a copyright strike, but I really don't care. But what I do care about is showing support to the people that show support to me, and to all the Yang Gang members that's out there that's watching this video and watch other Yang Gang videos that y'all like and y'all think that's cool videos that help support Andrew Yang and help get the name out there. I would like for y'all to take the time to leave a comment below and say, hey, check out somebody else's channel. I don't mind that you put it on this video and saying, check out this other person's channel, especially if they trying to get Andrew Yang name out there, because MSNBC and other news networks like that is going to try to hold the candidate back by not getting promotion and publicity out there. And they know one thing that's holding Andrew Yang back is name recognition. If people don't know who he is, they can't vote for him. But once they do find out who Andrew Yang is, they know that the Yang Gang is getting bigger. So that's why we all need to stick together and put everybody behind everybody and push to get Andrew Yang name out there. So if you know any other YouTuber that talks about Andrew Yang or want to do a podcast or want to get together and do something and talk about discussing Andrew Yang to get more content out there, you know what I'm saying? I want y'all to like, share, push it out there. If it's a good video, tag it on my video. You know what I'm saying? If you know somebody you want me to network with, just say, hey, Triple Cup don't mind working with you. You know what I'm saying? Small to big. Well, anyway, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody rocking with me on this very special occasion on Andrew Yang's birthday. And I would like to wish him a very special birthday and go out with a bang. And then after that, what I mean by I don't care about the copyright strike, because we're going to have to do it right. Let's go ahead and get it, man. It's the boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I do this. Let's go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Hello, I'm Andrew Yang, and I'm running for president as a Democrat in 2020.
Part of your job running for president is for the American people to meet you, and I'm sure you've had to introduce yourself many, many times. What's the quickest version of who is Andrew Yang?
If you've heard anything about me and my campaign, you've heard that someone is running for president who wants to give every American $1,000 a month. 7 years ago, I started Venture for America to train hundreds of young entrepreneurs to build businesses in Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, and other communities across the country. Together, we helped create thousands of jobs. But during this time, I came to realize that technology will eliminate millions of American jobs. Economists project 1/3 of American workers will lose their jobs to automation and technology in the next 12 years. In the face of these changes, we need to build a new kind of economy, one that puts people first. The first step is a universal basic income. Under my plan, every American adult will receive $1,000 a month, free and clear, paid for by a new tax on the companies that benefit most from automation. Amazon right now is closing 30% of America's stores and malls and paying zero in taxes. We are experiencing the greatest technological and economic shift in human history, and our institutions can't keep up. If you can imagine a country where everyone's getting $1,000 a month as a right of citizenship, it would make our families stronger and healthier. It would create millions of jobs in our communities. It would improve our mental health, would decrease our stress levels, would improve relationships. And we can very much make this happen. I'm not running for president because I fantasized about ever being president. I'm running for president because I'm an American and I'm a parent, and I can see the country we will leave to our children. And it is not something that I'm willing to accept. The challenges of this era are massive, but if we rise to the challenge, we can usher in a new era of greater equality, freedom, and abundance for all Americans. We can light the country on fire with the vision of an economy that works for us. We're going to make history together in 2020.
Our next president of the United States, Andrew Yang.
We have forgotten the power that we hold. And this campaign is going to wake people up to the fact that we are still in control of our own future. Thank you all. We love you. Let's win this election. Let's win this whole thing. Thank you.
Whoa, what's good with your YouTube and YouTube busted? Your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm up and appreciate.
Yeah, hey, but y'all, hey, I was a rookie back then, but it still was like on some. Yeah, that was me remembering back in the G. Good times, good times. Happy birthday to Andrew Yang. Special shout out. Well, anyway, well, that just kind of brought me down memory lane for a second, and y'all seeing the guys. It's nostalgic, because man, Andrew Yang was talking about so much stuff that was so futuristic back then that we seeing now that's still futuristic, but now we able to see exactly what he was talking about. Because think about it, when you go to when you calling on, because I did this the other day. When you make a phone call and you got to talk to the computer and they ask you questions, it still sound like a computer in animation, but it's doing that now. It's starting to make more sense. It sound more natural, but it still got a little tweaking to do, and it's almost to perfection. It looked like it's within 5 years of that's a wrap, folks. So if you're a call center worker, you answer phones and stuff like that, it's pretty much over with for you. Because man, the way that was him, within 5 years, they're gonna have that on perfection. But see, when I do that, that's why I be doing that and be going and stuff like that. But with that, what I'm saying, special shout out to Andrew Yang. Hey, Yang Gang, let me know that y'all down there. Put Yang Gang in the bottom. Put other people channels down at the bottom that promote Andrew Yang and do Yang Gang videos that have changed and updated since a year ago. So anyway, though, let's go ahead and get the diving back into Donald Trump's second impeachment. Let's see what Nancy Pelosi, and they have to. Matter of fact, let's do a reaction on the BBC about what Nancy Pelosi had to say about Donald Trump's second impeachment. Let's do this. First, it's going to take a minute of.
Hi, we are Yuda and Maya Devere, and we are the creators of the popular webcomics, one of the.
I don't know if that was a me issue or if that's a day issue, but as ever we go, it's still an issue that needs to be resolved. Are they still saying what? Oh, y'all.
We have over 8 million followers.
I wish I had 1 million. I'd be off with
an unwelcome
bring that back. Bring that back.
After 4 tumultuous years in power, Donald Trump has just become the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. Members of the U.S. House of Representatives have formally charged him with inciting insurrection after last week's deadly assault by his supporters on the Capitol. The impeachment vote was to decide whether or not the president should stand trial. The answer was yes. He will now go on trial in the upper house, the Senate, though it's not sure when. Donald Trump is one of just 3 presidents to be impeached, and now the only one to be impeached twice. The vote took place in the last half hour, and North America editor John Sopel has the very latest on this extraordinary development. John.
Sophie, this time last Wednesday, there was a riot going on in Congress. Today, Donald Trump has been impeached for a second time. This time next Wednesday, Joe Biden will be president. Whatever Donald Trump hoped would be his legacy, it can't have been this. As a real estate developer, he loves seeing his name on tall buildings, on the Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, the Trump Hotel in Washington, the Trump golf courses in Scotland. But now his name will be forever linked with the Congress and Capitol Hill, and for all the wrong reasons.
On this vote, the ayes are...
The moment when Donald Trump carved himself an unwelcome niche in American history, becoming the first president to be impeached twice.
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
As dawn broke over the nation's capital, the place was somehow unrecognizable. The landscape had changed. It now feels like the front line, a garrison town, with the elegant marble corridors, a barracks. The Civil War president, Abraham Lincoln, looking down on resting servicemen. But impeachment 2.0 is different, very different. For a start, the US Congress, where this is being heard, is also the crime scene, where the Trump-supporting mob descended last week.
Almighty God, wield your sword and penetrate the confusion and discontent of...
Okay, I don't know how many people in here are religious, what you believe in religion and your faith and how you believe in faith, but you gotta say, if you're a religious person and you do believe in a higher power, you can't deny some of these dots that's being connected. I digress.
of our country.
And this isn't about some call to a Ukrainian politician. This is about an assault on the sacred heart of US democracy that Donald Trump is charged with inciting.
The president must be impeached, and I believe the president must be convicted by the Senate, a constitutional remedy that will ensure that the Republic will be safe from this man who was so resolutely determined to tear down the things that we hold dear and that hold us together.
This was not a protest. This was an insurrection. This was a well-organized attack on our country that was incited by Donald Trump.
Last time round, every Republican voted as a bloc to back the president, but now they're splitting three ways. There are those backing his impeachment.
Today we make history forever, so choose well. A vote to impeach Donald Trump means years from now you can look your grandchildren in the eye and say, I did the right thing.
The gentleman's time is...
There were those questioning the impeachment process, but not backing Donald Trump.
We need to recognize we are following a flawed process. We need to recognize that people of goodwill can differ. We need to recognize that while the House may be done with this matter after today's vote, it will not be done for the country.
And a few whose support for Donald Trump is undimmed.
Today, the second annual impeachment of President Trump isn't really about actual words spoken out of rally. No, this is all about, Madam Speaker, the unbridled hatred of this president.
The president made his first foray out of the White House yesterday, warning somewhat ominously that his supporters would be very angry if impeachment went ahead. But today...
Hey, you ever heard of like some type of reverse psychology, right? Now, what if the media is the actual pushers of the riots and the violence and stuff, because the media is directing traffic to look in a certain direction on one side and media directing traffic to look a different way on another side? That way they could have them run into each other to have a big catastrophe, so the media could have more stories to talk about. That's why I like to say I'm a forward thinker. I'm not a Democrat, not Republican. I'm a forward thinker. I'm part of the forward party, man. Shout out to the Yang gang. We in here. Happy birthday, Andrew Yang. Look, so about the forward party, right? You know, I got to give it up. But, you know, but the forward party is we able to see these things and think logically, right? So if this don't make logic sense, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So what I'm seeing is actually the people that's behind the scenes is the ones that on pedal pushing all this mayhem and manias. I digress.
A new statement issued. In light of reports of more demonstrations, I urge that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. That is not what I stand for, and it's not what America stands for. I call on all Americans to help ease tensions and calm tempers. Thank you. Today, Airbnb announced that it was cancelling all bookings in Washington for next week. Some hotels are doing the same to stop potential rioters coming in. The capital is becoming a citadel.
That looks more like a all right, Civil War. this is like it's like you take a match and the little box thing that you hold the matches on, and you put it right here, and you just holding it, right? And then all it takes is somebody to say something and you to move, and you're gonna strike a match, right? That's how, and then it's in a room full of gas. Man, that's how hot it is, and that's how we on. I digress.
And just on the security situation, there are now more troops deployed in Washington, D.C. than there are US troops in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. So what happens next? Well, the trial will take place in the Senate, and Mitch McConnell, the current Republican majority leader, says it's not going to happen before Joe Biden takes over as president. So there's going to be some delay. And that will raise the question in many people's minds, well, what's the point of going ahead with this if Donald Trump has already left office? Well, one is it could debar him from ever holding office again. But the point that a Democratic congressman made today when asked that.
Okay, let me pause him for a second. That's another thing that I heard, that the second impeachment was going to guarantee that Donald J. Trump would not be able to run in 2024, right? Because they trying to like pull him up out the ground, and they're grabbing the roots and everything so it won't regrow. Now, the only thing about this situation is Andrew Yang made a very valid point when he said that the Donald Trump supporters, it ain't get smaller for Joe Biden to win. They actually grew larger from 2016. So by them growing larger since 2016, that means, let's say, if Donald J. Trump personally cannot run, that's not to say we don't have another David Duke, right? Because I'm from Louisiana. I know about a David Duke, a real white supremacist that say, hey, it's not about hating other groups. It's just about empowering white people. See, that was his mentality, right? So what if another politician that's well-groomed, well-shaved, and be able to speak, but with the same ideology as Donald Trump, right? So they be able to do the same exact thing as Donald Trump, but more smooth and more polished, like a you know, like he been here for doing the stuff that the people really want him to do without being upfront and like a brute, like how Donald Trump is. Because Donald Trump just be running through things and saying stuff and going off the clutch and stuff like that. He's not a politician, but a politician could be more smooth with the same belief system as Donald Trump. And if they do, we will be in a lot more trouble than what we're in right now. So Joe Biden is a patch for a cover up, because I do not trust Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Not right now. They have to really prove themselves to me. And I tell them, they're like, hey, I'm not very trustworthy than what you your intentions is for the American people. I think y'all more doing more politicking than anything. Well, anyway, I digress.
That question, he said, yeah, it may be late, but it is never too late to do the right thing.
Our North America editor, John Sopel in Washington. Thank you.
Yep, appreciate it. Now, with that, let's pull
this
it off.
entrepreneur brand logo was done.
Let's pull it off of the live videos and go here. See if we can find one more about Donald Trump on a quick slide. Yeah. Matter of fact, let's see what the Mooch got to say. That was another one I had wanted to check out with the Mooch.
Obviously, this has been a huge week news-wise. A lot of stuff is going on. You know, I think you would probably know almost better than anyone. By the way, we should mention that you were a very vocal campaigner against Donald Trump. In 2020, you went and endorsed Joe Biden. You traveled all over the country, and I know you worked very hard to do everything you could to ensure that President Trump wasn't reelected. You know this guy well. How long have you known him, by the way?
Well, probably like, people that worked at NBC. You may or may not remember this. I was a CNBC contributor for many years. And I had met Mr. Trump through the NBC ecosystem. And so basically, I'd gone to many parties with him, apprentice parties, finale parties, that sort of thing. But when I really got to know him in 2012, when we were working on the Romney campaign together, we hosted several fundraisers in his home, that triplex apartment. I don't know if you've ever been in there. It looks like Louis XIV smoked crystal meth and then decorated the apartment. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
But
tense, I know.
Tense, and so we did a couple of fundraisers there. Listen, I want to be fair to him. He was a gregarious host. He had a charm about him back then. And when he ran for president, I frankly didn't take it seriously. I was with Jeb Bush. I don't know if you would remember that, but I was working on Jeb's campaign with Ambassador Woody Johnson and Jack Oliver and members of the old Bush.
That's how she looking like. Come on.
And when Mr. Trump slayed all of these people, he called me and he asked me to come in and help him. And I thought I was doing a loyal thing for the Republican Party. And in our society, we have two choices for the presidency. The right choice, frankly, in 2016 was.
See, the thing about this is, I'm not a fan of you only have two choices. There's an illusion to think that you actually have a choice, because you have two choices that end up leading you back down the same exact path. I digress.
Secretary Clinton, but I was a Republican, and I went with I went with then candidate Trump around the country. I learned a lot about the country, Katie. The country that you've experienced, obviously, through your broadcast journalism career. And there was some great sadness for me seeing certain parts of the country where, I grew up in a blue collar neighborhood. Parents didn't go to college, but we were an aspirational blue collar family. And we've seen over 30 or 40 years the conversion into desperational blue collar people. And I got to see that firsthand on the campaign. And I'll tell you, I was very sad about that. And so when Mr. Trump was speaking in those areas, I said, okay, these are forgotten men and women. He's providing a voice of advocacy for them. And of course, I got that narrative wrong. He got into the presidency and, started doing things inside the presidency that were damaging to those people, frankly, damaging to our standing in the world, damaging to our allies, and then trying to be a loyal person to him. And I think this is the loyalty trap that many of his supporters are in right now. About 2 years ago, I said I could no longer support this. And I tried to explain why, and also apologize for my support of him, try to own the support. And frankly, Katie, to create an off-ramp. There's 74 million Americans that have voted for President Trump. Some of them are now radicalized and acting like domestic terrorists, but some of them are normal people. They just, they see a culture war in the U.S. I frankly don't see.
Right. I mean, I'm in a boat of, I know they, just because you're a Trump supporter, that don't make you a racist, right? But there are some racists that's Trump supporters. I digress.
War, but it's a narrative in the cable news networks and the talk radio networks. And we need to diffuse that. We need to create this off-ramp for those people. And so I've been working very hard on that over the last 6 months.
So Nancy Pelosi just said, today we learned no one is above the law in the United States. 10 Republicans sided with the Democrats, as you know, today with the article of impeachment. It's going to be sent to the Senate, but not until Joe Biden is elected, even though Mitch McConnell reportedly said he supported this impeachment, which I think came as a surprise to a lot of people. There's slowly, some of the support is starting to peel away, but many Republicans are still so adamantly supporting President Trump. And wondering if you talked to any of them, if you can explain the psychology and why they refuse to. I mean, as my husband just said to me, if this is not impeachable, what is? And how can you say, oh, he only has 9 or 10 days left and he's going to behave? But, shouldn't there be a statement made by people that
they're like 9 or 10 days, he's gonna behave, and then he's starting to throw a rally that's gonna be in Texas. So I'm starting to understand that I don't know why I'm like this morning. Probably gotta give me some more to drink. But anyway, though, so I can understand why Trump doing what Trump doing, but I can understand why they reporting the way they reporting and trying to impeach him so sincerely. Like, they don't want Trump to be in office. They don't want to even give him the last 10 days. They trying to get rid of him now because of they seeing the outcry and the outlines and the outcome of these riders and these supporters and the people that's for Trump, the people that's not for Trump. You got the left and you have the right, and it's actually starting to pull a greater divide in between the American people. I mean, not our people, because we really don't have no fight in this, but when it comes to the people that's actually involved into this, that actually put their hands in him, it's starting to be divided, and some of them is having to backstab and cut each other throat. I was watching a lot of TV shows, and they actually like House of Cards and stuff like that. Well, I don't want to be in an environment where if I could trust a person, but you can't trust the person, but then you got to trust this person not to trust this person. All that extra stuff like that, That's why I'm not that big of, I like watching it from afar, like a TV show, but that's why I'm not a fan of just people with the politics and stuff like that. Me, I'm all about one for one. So do you want to vote for this? Yes or no? Do you want to vote for that? Yes or no? I don't want to say put this bill with all these different things in there. See, I'm not a fan of that, and American people should rise up because we don't have to be either Democratic or Republican. We could be a part of the forward party. That's the future of the America, not the way it used to be way back in the days, because you know that's a bunch of BS. And I can see them saying, oh, well, the reason why we got to do this because some of these policies are not going to get passed unless we put them in it. That's the reason why they're not going to get passed, right? So it's a reason why they shouldn't be passed. Anyway, I digress.
Certain behaviors are simply unacceptable and inciting violence in the heart of democracy in the nation's capital, at the Capitol building, trying to hunt down Speaker Pelosi to do who knows what. You know, if that's not impeachable, what is? And why are these Republicans refusing? And why do they continue to insist, despite everything to the contrary, that the election was rigged?
Well, there's a lot there, so let me break it down. I would say the first thing on the impeachment and where the Republicans are, it's very sad for me because I was a lifelong Republican. And I would say to you, as you and I were growing up in this country, if there were differences in ideology, no one thought that Jimmy Carter was going to call for an insurrection any more than they thought that George Bush Sr. was going to call for an insurrection. We had differences and we tried to resolve our differences, and there was some partisan rancor, of course, but there wasn't this level of extremis. And so what's happened, unfortunately, we've lost that civic connective tissue. Perhaps there's less people serving in the military or less people connecting with each other, and we've become way more tribal. And these people are now, through great cynicism, they're thinking about their own personal power politics and their own ambition. And so they're...
Well, that's enough of a reaction about the Donald J. Trump impeachment. Well, I don't want to keep carrying it on for too much longer because I want to keep the thing constant. See, I'm more of a base of let's keep this thing going constantly instead of going off and going on, because you know a lot of people they'll be sitting. Let me stop this here, because you know a lot of people they be going on for like 4 and 5 hours and going every day and all day. You'll get burnt out on that person, or you'll get burnt out on what they trying to do. Me personally, I want to make sure that you know I get that Goldilocks zone where it's not too and out, where you don't really get an opportunity to get you a cup and drink you some or run you a lap or see whatever else going on. And I don't want it to be too long where you fall asleep, wake back up, and it's still going. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, though, man, it's your boy Triple Cup Chuck. I'm about to get up out of here, man. Appreciate you for riding with me, going back and watching. Double say happy birthday to Andrew Yang. And I'm not gonna forget I'm doing video games stuff as well too. I'm gonna be dropping that in the near future as well, because I gotta get my gaming on. I may even come back live and do something about the WandaVision or Batwoman. You know, I do all that type of stuff. Dearest Batwoman. Yeah, we do it. Man, think about it. We're gonna have a lot of stuff. So we ain't going nowhere. We have a lot of stuff that we could do on this channel. But yeah, y'all be cool.